Students, in our last class we started with the chapter of development and we saw what is development and the two types of development, that is the individual development and the national development. Okay, now today we are going to see more about the national development, how countries will be considered as a developed country and how can we classify it as a developed and underdeveloped country. So let's start with the class now. Students, today we are going to start with the topic how to compare different countries and or states. Okay, now just before I start with this topic, we'll just do a quick revision of what we have done earlier. We have seen that individual development means ideas, and it can be individual, it can be national. Okay, so development can be of the individual development and development can be national development. And individual development, we have seen that every person's idea of development is different from the other person's idea of development, and that is the reason when we have come to the point of national development, that means every individual is having a different notion of development for his or her own country. So everybody's idea of development for the nation is different from the other person's idea, and this idea is also reflected in the development of nations. That means, what I mean to say is that every country thinks that I am developed country by his or her own ideas. And so every country is having a different notion of development for its own country. For example, now this will be more clear. Now, for example, if Bhutan is a country and Bhutan says that we have less population, we have lots of tourism, we have lots of greenery, so we are a developed country. Okay, now, but according to USA considers Bhutan to be a less developed country. Why so? Because USA says that according to be a country developed, you should have more money. There should be more money, and if there is more money, there will be more facilities. Therefore, that country will be considered as to be more developed. But this is not the case with Bhutan. Bhutan is having less income, less money, and therefore if you compare it with USA, then the Bhutan is therefore not a developed country according to USA. So we see that this criteria, that different countries, different notions cannot be considered as a very valid criteria. Then what should be the criteria for considering a country to be developed? Now, we have already seen that for development, the main criteria is to have income. The main criteria is income. Income is not the only criteria. We have seen there has to be other criteria also. For example, in a job, we had seen in our last class that if you are paid highly in a job, will that be sufficient for you to do that job? If the working time is a lot, if you have to travel a lot, if there is no job security, if there is no job satisfaction, will you accept the offer of working in a company which is highly paying you? So we just saw that example and we finally came to the conclusion that we will not accept such a job which pays us even though very highly, but then it does not have a job satisfaction, job security, and all other criterias were not satisfied or fulfilled. Okay, so mainly income is the most important criteria, but then there are other criteria also. But for country to become a developed country, we have to look mainly income, mainly the income portion. Now, why income portion? Because if there is more income, that means there will be more of facilities, and if individual is getting more of facility, that means there is more of development in that country. Okay, so this leads us to the point that the total individual income of a country is called as the national income. So because this point we saw even earlier, that a nation is built with the individuals, by combining of individuals. So if we add up all the individual incomes, that is all the residents of a country, that will become the national income. Okay, now so we know now what is national income. National income is the total income of all the individuals. Now I have an example over here. Is national income of India equal to national income of Maldives? Can we say national income of India is equal to national income of Maldives? No. National income of India is not equal to national income of Maldives. Why? Because India is a more bigger country, it is having more population and therefore more income. So the income of India is more compared to Maldives, because Maldives is a less small country, it is having less of population and therefore less of income. So we see that the national income of India is not equal to national income of Maldives. Then how can we consider income as the criteria for national whether a country is developed or not developed, to find out whether a country is developed or not developed? How can we say that? So then what should be the correct criteria? The correct criteria, now people, the economists, they came to the point that the correct criteria should be the per capita income, which is also called as the average income. Now what is per capita income or the average income? This is a very important, students, this is a very important point. So just be careful and listen to this very patiently. Okay, now what is per capita income, or it is also called as the average income? Per capita income or the average income is the total income of a country divided by total population of that country. Okay, so that will give us the average income. Now what are the advantages of an average income? If we consider an average income, what are the advantages of this average income? Now we'll just see the points and we'll understand through an example. Now the average income of advantages of an average income is it hides disparities. What is disparities? Disparities means asamanataएं or dissimilarities. It hides the dissimilarities. Okay, we will see an example and we'll understand which dissimilarities. And second of all, it is good for comparatives. So these are the two important points. Now let's see this example of, I have two countries, country A and country B. Okay, now this is a very hypothetical situation. I have taken a very small figures for you to understand. So just listen to this very carefully, because you have to write this as an answer in your copies and in your exams also. This is an important question. So suppose we have two countries, country A and country B, and here we are having a chart of the person 1, person 2, person 3, 4 and 5, and their income is 100, 100, 100, 100, 100. Okay. Now normally this does not occur. Where in a country everyone is getting equal amount of wages, that really does not occur. But then we have taken a situation. Okay, so what is the total income of this country? The total income of country A will be 500. 100 plus 100 plus 100 plus 100 plus 100, 500. So what will be the average income of the country? The average income of this country will be total income divided by total population. So that will be 500 divided by 5. Total population is 5, so 500 divided by 5, that is 100. So average income is 100. Now this is really good. Every person's income is 100 and the average income is also 100. Okay, but then we have said that this situation normally does not happen in a country, that everyone is earning the same, because there are people who are of different levels. Okay, so we have another situation, country B. Now here also we are having 5 persons, and first person is having an income of 10 rupees, the second person is having an income of 20 rupees, the third person is having an income of 40 rupees, and the fourth person again 30 rupees, and the fifth person 400 rupees. So he must be a businessman. Okay, now so what is the total income of country B? The total income of country B will be 10 plus 20 plus 40 plus 30 plus 400, which will be 500. Okay, so what is the average income? Average income will be 500 divided by 5. Total income divided by total population. So that is equal to 100. Now we see that here also the average income is 100, and here also in country A the average income is 100. Okay, but then when we see that average income in country B is 100, does that mean the person 1 is earning 100 rupees as his income? No, because he is earning 10 rupees. He is earning 10 rupees. So, but his income is being shown as 100. Now, this is called as disparity, dissimilarity. Okay. Now, person 2 is earning 20 rupees. But then the average income of the country is coming as 100 rupees. So, there is so much of dissimilarity. There is so much of disparity between the two. So, this disparity is hidden when this disparity that a person who is having an income of 10 rupees or 20 rupees, but the average income is 100 rupees. So this disparity is hidden when we consider the average income. So this is average income's limitation. Okay, that it does not tell how the income is distributed among the people. So this is the limitation of average income. We saw that average income is very good because it hides the disparities and it is good for comparity. But then what is a disadvantage of average income? That it does not tell us how the income is distributed among the people. Okay, so what do we learn from this? We learn that we cannot have average income as the only criteria. So we need other criterias for comparisons. Okay, so we are going to do the other criterias. So we need other criterias other than income and other than average income of a country to categorize it whether it is a developed state or undeveloped state. Okay, so we are going to learn the other criterias now in our next video.